Haven't added multi-auth logic to your app yet, and your users are running wild? I've got you covered. Previously on Mailtrap videos, we've gone over the changes in Laravel 11. If you haven't already, make sure to check out that video, as we also show you the installation process and create a new project. And today, we'll add a simple multi-authentication logic that allows logins for different roles and users with separate dashboards and functionalities. For a more advanced system, hit the subscribe button and we'll deliver. Let's start by adding the Laravel Breeze package with the following command. Once it runs, we'll use PHP Artisan to install the package like so. Then you can choose the Breeze stack that best suits your project. Select whether you want dark mode and choose your preferred testing framework. Here I decided to go with Pest for its modern testing practices. After Composer installs everything and the build completes, we can run npm install to prepare our front-end dependencies located in the node_modules folder, and npm run dev to have our project running on localhost. And here it is. However, note that your terminal might look different because I've already gone through these steps before recording the video, so the results in the console may vary. Moving on, let's navigate to the migrations folder and include the following line of code, which will create a new column in the users table, allowing it to store one of the three values we need: admin, user, agent. Then we need to configure our settings in the .env file for database connectivity, with connection type, host, port, database, username, and password. And you can notice we're also using Laravel Sail, with which, if the need arises, we can set up a Docker environment for local Laravel project development. With the .env file all set up, let's run the following commands to create a file in the seeders folder that will populate the database with test users. And here is the file under with the three defined users: admin, agent, user. Also, don't forget to include the run method to define how the users will be created. Then let's update the database seeders file by adding the following line under yet another run method. With this line, the seeder is executed as well during the seeding process. Now we can migrate our database and seed the data with PHP Artisan, which will clear and populate the data you have defined. Let's check it out in the Database tab from the sidebar menu, under Users. And here they are. Next, we need to create two controllers, one for the admin and another for the agent role. For this, we'll use the following PHP Artisan commands. To see the new controller files, navigate to the app http controllers auth directory. Then, to define the roots, let's navigate to the web.php file in the root directory and insert the following code lines. The first root is for the admin/dashboard page, which calls the admin controller and dashboard. We'll name it, you've guessed it, admin.dashboard. The root for the agent works similarly, except we'll have to fix the naming accordingly for the agent dashboard. Next, let's go back to the admin_controller.php and define a new method which will render the admin dashboard view. We'll do the same for the agent_controller.php. Inside the views folder under the resources directory, create the folders and files for both admin and agent. These two will hold our dashboard views, and for now, we'll populate these with plain HTML content. However, you can modify them as you wish. Then, let's navigate to the app, http controllers auth AuthenticatedSessionController, where we'll define our logic in the store method like so. This will redirect a user type to a specific dashboard upon login. For example, if the user has the admin role, they'll be redirected to the admin dashboard URL, and vice versa. Lastly, simply add the following line to ensure that the user is sent to the correct dashboard. With the logic defined, let's run the following artisan command to create a new middleware class called role. Then navigate to the newly created class and define an additional parameter that will accept this middleware and compare the current user's role with the role defined in the root. I've already added this, so feel free to copy-paste lines of code 18 and 19. With this role checking logic, if the roles don't match, the user will be redirected to the default dashboard. If they match, they will have access to their respective dashboard. Also, since we're using Laravel 11, we need to define an alias for our newly created middleware in the config/bootstrap PHP file, where, if you remember from our previous Laravel video, the withMiddleware method is called like so. For the final touches, let's go back to our routing and apply the middleware for our routes. Firstly, we'll use the auth along with the role middleware, passing the parameter admin. Similarly, we'll pass the agent parameter, the same one we defined in our newly created middleware. All there's left to do is test our multi-authentication logic. But before we do that, why not subscribe to our channel? It's free. Plus, as a part of the Mailtrap community, you'll get notified whenever we drop another Laravel banger. Okay, time to do some testing. You can find the credentials in the users table seeder file, located in the seeders folder we created previously. Let me show you which pages are accessible if I log in as an agent. As you can see, it takes me to the agent dashboard. But if I try accessing the admin dashboard, I'm redirected to the regular users dashboard URL instead of the admin URL. This way, the agent can access only the agent dashboard and the shared one at the /dashboard root. So everything's working as it should. And there you have it, folks, a multi-auth logic for Laravel that leverages Breeze and works like a charm. With it in place, it's prime time you add an email verification system to your Laravel project and prevent spam by verifying the authenticity of the submitted email addresses. How? Simply click on the card next to me and I'll show you right away. See you in the next one.